Hey lovelies, it's Kate. Welcome back to another video. It's finally time for a tiny build. After university came out, I told you guys that I would totally like to build a tiny house. There are multiple 20 by 15 lots in this world, so it was finally time to tackle another tiny build. And I know what you guys are thinking. Hey, this is not tiny, but it is. This is a 3-in-1 build on a 20 by 15 lot, so these are 3 tiny townhouses on one lot. With the university, we now have the ability to have roommates. This is not exclusive to Brichester. It's not inclusive to the whole university experience. You can have roommates anywhere. So you can let your sim move in, and then you just have some roommates. You assign one townhouse to each roommate, and then you can just live together on one lot, which is probably a lot of fun. So I decided to combine 3 different townhouses on one lot. With all the new objects that we got in university, it just made sense to build a house in this style. I felt inspired by brownstones in New York and these type of townhouses, but of course these townhouses don't represent a proper brownstone at all, because the name already says there's a lot of brown going on and a certain type of stone, and this is absolutely not the case here. So I just felt inspired by this, and after the pack came out, I already said that I would like to have a tiny house and some townhouses and all that, and then I thought that it would be a lot of fun to just combine these 2 themes. After I started working on another tiny build, I realized that I have absolutely no idea what to build for a tiny house. So I then figured that it would be fun to just combine the 2 themes. So this is what I did. As you guys know, I rarely build very small builds, so it's always a very difficult challenge for me, and also a lot of fun because I like challenges. It's just really interesting to just figure something out, and this was extra difficult because I really had to squeeze in these 3 builds on one lot. So these townhouses are next to each other, and they are pretty similar in style, and also when it comes to the shape, they're very similar. I just changed up the style and the whole shape for the one in the center because I really wanted this one to stand out. So the ones on the left and right have an identical shape, but the one in the center stands out a bit. This way it's symmetrical and it looks good, but I really had to make this look balanced and nice. The same goes for all the color combinations. I used different windows and doors, mostly from university and from the vampires pack. So I really wanted each townhouse to have a distinct style, so each townhouse really stands out, and you can really tell that these are 3 different separate houses. So of course I had to find a theme and a color scheme for each house, but it still had to look cohesive, it still had to make sense. So when you look at it, I didn't want this to look too busy, I didn't want there too much stuff going on, and this was really difficult. Before working on this, I had actually started to work on some other townhouses. I already mentioned this in my last speed build, I think, and it just looked all over the place. I didn't like how it looked. I built this on a much bigger lot and it just didn't make sense. I didn't like the shape, I didn't like the look, and the shape was also a lot more crazy, but here I couldn't do that because of the space restrictions on a 20 by 15 lot. So I didn't have all these possibilities, which was eventually a good thing because there is a lot of stuff going on. There are many details, and each townhouse has its own distinct style, but at the same time it's not too crazy when it comes to the shape and balconies and all that, because I think in this case it would have just been too much, honestly, because when you are already combining 3 different builds, it's just too much easily. So I really like how this turned out. As you saw, I added a basement, and the reason for that is when you look at typical brownstones or other townhouses, there is very often some type of basement section in the front, and then you can see a window down there. This way you have some natural light in the basement probably, so I definitely wanted to include that. I used a vampire's fence for this to just fence off this area, and the basement is for everyone, so you can only access the basement from the outside, and then I just placed some bikes down there, the ones that came with university, as you will see, and just some stuff. I didn't place a lot of stuff there for the reason that this is a tiny build or 3 tiny builds, and I didn't want to kind of cheat and just put all kinds of different things in the basement, which is quite spacious. So it's totally up to you what you want to do with this basement. As always, this build is of course available in the gallery, and if you download this, you can just put all kinds of different things down there, which I think is very handy because in a tiny build there's not much space at all. Everything is well thought out. You really have to think where you place something, and there's definitely no space to just place a random chess table, for example, or the flower binding table. But let's say your Sims need these objects just to learn some skill, for example. You have some extra space in the basement. This is not what I had originally planned, but then when I added the basement sections in the front, you have this typical townhouse look. I figured that it would make sense to just expand the basement to have a proper basement down there, and you can use it for whatever you like. You could of course also leave it quite empty, just like I did. So as I said, I didn't want to cheat and to just place all kinds of different things down there, so it's a tiny house on top, and then anything that didn't fit into the tiny house goes into the basement. I didn't think that this makes a lot of sense for a tiny build, so you can totally decide what you want to do with this basement. Here in the back you can see all the different wall colors that are used for these builds in their full glory. All these wall colors came with University. There are some stunning wallpapers in this pack, and as I said, or as you can see, I also used some wall decorations, some doors and windows, and the little roof decorations that came with this pack. This is a University build after all. I just combined some stuff from other packs with this, and all these townhouses have one bedroom each, but the one on the right side has one additional bedroom, one kids room, so there's enough space for 7 Sims in total if you use all the double beds and then the one bed in the kids room. So you could have 7 Sims on this lot. I'm sure if you would remodel the one on the left a little bit, you could also squeeze in another bedroom, because then you have a identical floor plan almost, at least on the outside. So I was able to squeeze in a bedroom on the right side, so you will also be able to do the same on the left side probably. But on the inside I really wanted to mix the whole layout up a little bit, and as you will see, I also used totally different colors for all of them. One has a blue scheme, the other one is more red, the other one has some neutral browns, so I really wanted to change things up. I also encountered a weird bug that many Simmers encountered after University came out. I think there was a patch today maybe, I'm not even sure, maybe I just read this and I confused myself, but I think that there is a new patch actually, and I hope that the patch fixed this issue. But there's a weird bug where you cannot place any walls. So whatever you do, even if you bulldoze the lot and you place it again, you cannot build any walls, and this just happens randomly. And I ran into this problem here, so I built the whole thing on one day, and then the exterior, and then I saved and came back to the build next day and wanted to work on the floor plan and the interior. And then when I wanted to build a wall, suddenly it wasn't working anymore, so I placed this build on another lot. I just worked on the floor plan and then I furnished this here. I don't know why this happens. There have been many random weird building bugs in this pack after the last patch, and I just hope that all these issues will be fixed very soon. I cannot say anything about bugs when it comes to gameplay. I'm just building, but it has been a really wild experience, I have to say. But the same kind of happened after I'm living when I now think about it, which makes sense because we got these water lots and a lot of stuff changed, and I don't know why this happened here, but yeah. So if you're running into this problem, you can just save your build to the gallery, then place it on a different lot, and then you can finish your build there. And you could also save it and then place it on its original lot, just like I did here, and then you can furnish it or just upload it. So this is just one tiny fix that I found. One Simmer also told me that the basement was the issue for her. I then deleted the whole basement to see if this would fix it, but it didn't. So again, it seems to be some type of very random bug. I also want to say thank you so much. Today we hit 50,000 subs on this channel and I cannot believe it. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. This is a dream come true. Last year in 2018, I ended the year with 5,000 subs and I was so grateful and over the moon. And then I jokingly said when I was asked that the goal for this year would be 50k, and this was just a joke because I never expected this to happen. And it's so crazy that it's now almost December. The year is very slowly coming to an end and now I hit 50k. It's a dream come true, and I owe all of this to you and to anyone who supports me on social media, just anyone who watches my video, who subscribes to me, who shares my builds. Just thank you to all of you from the bottom of my heart. You have no idea how much this means to me, and it's just amazing. I'm also going to make a 50k sub special very soon, because of course I want to give something back to you guys. You know that I always do this when I hit some milestones, and it's been a while since the last one, so it's time for a fun little sub special, and we will see what's going to happen. So thank you so much, guys. I'm really happy, and I just cannot believe that we managed to hit this number so quickly, and this year has been just super crazy. So much stuff has happened, and I also tweeted about this, and I said always dream big, and someone said that she dreamed big, but it didn't happen for her. And all I can say to this is YouTube is just super crazy, it's tricky, and you never know what happens. And there's some simmers who started way after me. Actually, I started in August 2018, and they are way bigger than me, like double the size or triple the size. And then there are some simmers who've been doing this way longer than me, and they are smaller. And then there were some who worked on that channel for years. Their growth was pretty slow, and then they just skyrocketed to over 100k very quickly. So you never know what happens. What matters is just do what you love, put all your love and heart into this, create the content you like, do it for your viewers, just do what you love and have some fun. And it's not about the numbers, even though of course numbers are important in a way, because you just want to hit certain milestones, you are proud of yourself. It would be a lie to say that it's not exciting to hit a certain milestone. It is super amazing, and even though you don't do this for the numbers, at the same time numbers sometimes matter in a way. You want to hit milestones, you may feel encouraged by certain numbers, you may feel discouraged by certain numbers. This is just how it is on YouTube. This is how it goes. But what I want to say is, if you are doing YouTube, if you've just started out or anything, you never know what happens. Just keep going, do what you love, and you just never know what happens. Eventually anything can happen, and it's just, YouTube is just a crazy experience and a lot of fun, and you guys make this experience just the best thing ever for me. Thank you so much. Also, another little teaser, as I already said, there will be a 50k sub special, but my next build is going to be a very huge mega build, a huge mansion. I'm not going to say more than that, but if you're usually here for the huge big over the top fun builds, then the next one might be for you. So I'm going to work on this after this video, and I'm really excited to see what you guys think. So I think that this is more in my style, kind of, because you guys know that I like to work on these very huge builds. And after that, I finally want to tackle Foxbury Institute. I still haven't done that. I still haven't built with any of the new modern objects that we got in this pack, and I'm really excited to finally do that. So there is going to be a lot of fun university content left. I said this before, I love this pack, and there are many new opportunities, possibilities, new stuff to build, new themes to build for, and I have a lot of stuff planned for you guys. So here you can see that this build has a blue theme and the other one had a red theme. So as I said, I just used different colors, and building the kids room or furnishing the kids room was really difficult. It's a tiny build, there isn't a lot of space, so I really had to squeeze in everything. For the other two townhouses, the bedrooms are probably the biggest rooms. You just saw how difficult it was to furnish the other rooms. I play tested this to make sure that no path is blocked, because with tiny builds you never know what happens. You just squeeze in all the furniture and you have no idea if it even works, so you definitely have to play test this for a tiny build. And this is the basement. I placed a couple of bikes and I used this fence. I don't even know if it's a fence, but it came with get to work for the prison or for the police station, I think. I have no idea. And I just used this. And this is it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for 50k subs, and I hope that you enjoyed this build. You can find all the information in the description box down below if you want to use this build. I hope you have a perfect day, and I hope I see you in the next video. Bye bye.